So, what sort of things does Leah do on her channel? Oh, you know, uploads a book haul immediately after a book unhaul, because I am nothing if not consistent. Hello 2018! It's the first time I'm talking to a camera this year, so this is a moment that we should all enjoy. You may have noticed that the last video I uploaded was a video of me removing things from my bookshelf that I intend to take to charity, unless any of you guys want it, in which case I'll link it below, have a look and let me know. However, I'm surrounded by books right now because I'm refilling those spaces. Basically, these are all the books that I have acquired in the month of January / the very end of December, and I thought I'd show you the internet. The first book is Gordon Brown, My Life, Our Times, which I received for Christmas from my mother, and it is a beast. This was the first book that I finished in 2018. Actually, really liked it. Whatever your political affiliations, this is just very interesting to read about the kind of rise of extremism and the global financial crisis, and generally the kind of structure of government and how Downing Street is laid out and stuff like that. So yeah, very interesting book. This is The City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare, which is the second book in the Mortal Instruments series, and you may have noticed, if you watched my book unhaul, that I was unhauling a copy of City of Ashes. So Leah, why are you now hauling a copy of City of Ashes? Well, I bought the first 4 Mortal Instruments books second-hand, and the copy of City of Ashes that I had didn't match the rest of the series, and it was bugging me, so I figured I'd get rid of it and get a new one, and luckily my friend Charlotte was unhauling all of her Mortal Instruments books, so she let me have this one, and now my set matches, which is all anyone really wants in the world. Last week I went to Headline Books and Bookbridge's New Voices 2018 event, which, if you want to find out more about, I did a blog post, I'll link it below. So basically it was just an event where they were showing off some of their new authors, and you got to pick up proof copies of all of their books. So naturally, I picked up proof copies of all of their books. There are loads of them. Firstly, in our Mad and Furious City, we met the author of this. By we, I don't mean the royal we, I mean myself and Sophie, who was kind enough to join me, because as we all know, I'm an incredibly anxious and depressed person who doesn't know how to talk to humans, so thankfully Sophie was there to, you know, get conversations started. I now also, from that event, thanks to Sophie and the lovely lady Ellen, who runs Griffin Books UK, have a list of Margaret Atwood to read, so maybe in my next haul I'll have a load of Margaret Atwood books. We met the author of this book, and he was very interesting, and he was telling us about where this book kind of came from, and this is partly inspired by the Lee Rigby murder, which happened in London a couple of years ago, and is basically an exploration of multiculturalism and extremism and all that good stuff. Also, we were chatting to the guy about The Hobbit, The Edge Chronicles, and socialism and robots, so it was, I'm basing the fact this book will be good on that conversation. Another point in the evening, we met the guy that wrote this. His name is Leo Karo, and there was a brief moment of confusion when he went, "Hi, I'm Leo," and I went, "I'm Leah," and he went, no, Leo, and I was like, yeah, Leah. Kind of awkward things that happen to me when I leave the house. This is The Wolf, and it is the first book in the Under the Northern Sky series, which is coming out this year, and from what I can gather from this and talking to the chap that wrote it, this is a kind of high fantasy Game of Thrones style book, and it sounds really good, so I'm gonna appreciate this. Next up we have The Feed by Nick Clark Window, and I think this is gonna be probably my favourite of all of the ones that we picked up at the event, because the synopsis of this is, all you are is on the feed. What will you become when the feed goes down? The synopsis of it reminds me a little bit of This Mortal Coil, which I read last year, and like The Circle and things like that, and so I think it's going to be really good, and it focuses on 2 people whose daughter goes missing, and kind of that alongside post-apocalyptic Internet of Things type situation, so I think this would be good. Finally, we picked up the must-read thriller of 2018, The Perfect Girlfriend, which I'm not overly keen on the cover, but it sounds pretty good. This is about a girl called Juliet who is desperately trying to win back her ex and will do literally anything in order for that to happen. And the back of the book literally just says, "Meet Juliet, attractive, romantic, passionate, obsessed, psychotic, in love." So it describes me in every relationship I've ever been in. Those things weren't enough. I stopped by The Works while I was in Bath watching my friend get tattooed the other day, because it's the kind of person I am now. I frequent tattooists. I went to The Works because they had a massive sign in the window saying, "Stock clearance, everything must go." And I got all of these for £4.50. Firstly, a little bit of an explanation here. I am weirdly fascinated by the Kray twins, and I think this is because my granddad grew up in the East End and his brother kind of knew their brother, and so I've heard like various stories from like people who kind of were around and like kind of knew of them and like that kind of thing. I've read a couple of biographies of theirs, and I found in The Works Reggie Krays' autobiography. Now I don't know if it's normal to have a favourite Kray twin, but I think Reggie would be mine if that was a thing. I'm not saying it is, but if it was, it would be Reg. Also in The Works, I picked up this copy of Neil Gaiman's American Gods, because I've only read 4 Neil Gaiman books, and I loved them, and I keep meaning to get round to American Gods, and I never have, and I figured if it's this massive and on my shelf, I'll notice it. The final book I picked up in The Works, I literally only picked up because it's got John Sim and Millie Bobby Brown on the front, and that is this. It's called The Intruders by Michael Marshall, which is apparently an international bestseller and a major BBC TV series, which I don't remember being on TV. But judging by the fact that Millie Bobby Brown looks about 8 years old, I imagine it was a while ago. I've also, since the beginning of January, been sent a couple of e-galleys, which are, for the uninitiated, digital versions of advanced copies of books. So, like, instead of them sending you a proof copy, like this is a printed proof, they'd send you a digital proof straight through to your Kindle, so I've got a couple of those. Firstly, I have a copy of Zenith. I'm so excited because this was one of the arcs that was available at YALC back in the summer, and I was like desperately checking the Twitter feed to see if there were any left and where I had to go to get them, and I didn't get one, but I've got sent one. I've been sent a digital copy and I'm very excited to read it. I also got sent a copy of Clean by Juno Dawson. I've never read any Juno Dawson, always wanted to, so looking forward to it. Riot Days, which is by the girls that were in Pussy Riot and like that whole thing and what happened to them, and just thought it'd be interesting, so when I saw it I was like, okay, I'll have that one. Finally, The Taste of Blue Light, which was sold to me as being what would have been produced if Sylvia Plath wrote YA. I love Sylvia Plath. I have a Sylvia Plath tattoo, that's how much I love Sylvia Plath. So, I would be really disappointed if this book isn't anything like Sylvia Plath's work. But time will tell. We'll find out. Those are all the books that I've acquired during the month of January. Have you read any of them? Are you looking forward to any of them? Let me know down below. Did you go to the New Voices event? Did you see me hiding behind Sophie at every opportunity? Let me know.